And we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we will go through the stat leaders in both the NFL and in college football as well. Something I haven't done in a while. Something I would do like every single week, but I kind of stopped doing it because nothing really was changing. It was kind of just like the same, players are at the top like every single week. So I think that's kind of why I stopped doing it. But things have changed somewhat since then. I can't even remember the last time. I'd have to go look back and see. But so we'll start in the NFL. So we'll look at passing yards. So right now, Sam Howell for the I almost said the Washington football team, the Washington Commanders. He leads the NFL in passing yards with 3,339 passing yards. Then you have C.J. Stroud with 3,266 passing yards. Josh Allen, 3,214 passing yards. Tua Tagovailoa, 3,177 passing yards, and then Jared Goff, 3,075 passing yards. Other than Washington, all those teams are in contention for the playoffs. Obviously, Miami and Detroit are leading their divisions. Buffalo and the Texans are on the outside looking in, trying to get themselves into a playoff spot. Texans are in a better spot than the Bills at the moment. The Bills have a very tough schedule coming up. But yeah, I mean, Sam Howell, he's thrown for a lot of yards this year. I think Washington does have something with him. But, we'll see what happens moving forward, especially like I just talked about in the last segment. I mean, Ron Rivera, he's on his way out. So, we'll see what the Commanders do at the end of the year and who the new head coach is going to be. I say they appoint or promote Bieniemy to being the head coach, but that's just me. Then you go to passer rating. Brock Purdy is in first with that. He's got a 112.3 passer rating. Kirk Cousins at number 2, 103.8. I mean, it's, again, unfortunate because he was having a really good year. And, actually he came out and said, like, he, didn't know it was this the last time that he was going to play football when he got hurt. But he's in a better place with what he said afterwards. He's like, he said he's in a better place now. He feels like that that's not the case. That was weird how I worded that. But, yeah, he's going to try to come back next year. So hopefully he does, and the Vikings bring him back. Because, I mean, the Vikings really turned it around. And, him getting hurt, that really was unfortunate for them. We also got Tua, who's, a 10th behind him. He has a 103.7 passer rating. Tua's been good, although, wasn't great on Black Friday. He had the 2 picks and the fumble. But he's been solid for the Dolphins this year. And I don't know how far they're going to go. I don't think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl, but you never know. With the playmakers they have on offense, you never know. But give him credit. He's been good this year. Russell Wilson, people were talking about how, even with the stats, they were like, yeah, Russell Wilson's really just not playing good. But he has. I mean, the touchdown to interception ratio is good. He's got a 103.4 passer rate. Yeah, top 5 in passer rating. I mean, that's good. He's been playing better this year as opposed to last year. And the Broncos right now, they're another team that's trying to make a playoff push here. C.J. Stroud, top 5 as well. He's got a 100.8. That's your offensive rookie of the year right there, C.J. Stroud. Then you look at rushing yards. I mean, there's no surprise here. Who's at the top? Christian McCaffrey, 939 rushing yards. Leads the NFL. Then you got Raheem Mostert, who's got 785 rushing yards. DeAndre Swift has 770. Derrick Henry has 739. And Zach Moss is still top 5. I thought he'd be out of the top 5. He's got 672 rushing yards. And now, I mean, that's going to go up now with Jonathan Taylor, missing the next couple of games at least, with him having to, miss time with the thumb injury. I mean, he's been a surprise this year, definitely. Because with the Bills, he was like their like number 3 back. Like he really just he really didn't do anything with the Bills. Then he went to the Colts and he just became a top 5 runner and in terms of rushing yards. But that just goes to show you how there's really not a lot of like elite running backs this year. I mean, because you got Zach Moss. I mean, I don't want to disrespect Zach Moss, but yeah, I mean, you got Raheem Mostert, who's 31 years old. I mean, and he has an injury history, but he's been really good for the Dolphins. Obviously you got Derrick Henry on here, but yeah, there's like not a lot of elite running backs if you really think about it. Guys coming off of injuries from the previous year, like Tony Pollard, for example. He's starting to play better. But, yeah, I mean, and some teams, they have more than one running back that they rely on. And obviously some guys are banged up. Like Aaron Jones really hasn't played that much this year for the Packers. Saquon's been out. He's missed time. But, yeah, it's interesting, the running back position. Because obviously, and also Nick Chubb, getting hurt earlier in the season as well. Like, it's a weird year for running backs, especially with them, dealing with all the contract stuff in the off season, how they've wanted more money. But yeah, that's the running back position for you. So that was the rushing yards, receiving yards. Tyreek Hill is the number one the number one spot in receiving, has 1,300 yards receiving. Keenan Allen second, CeeDee Lamb in third, A.J. Brown 4, DJ Moore 5. Listen, we'll see if Tyreek Hill could get to 2,000 yards. Still got some time. He needs like a 200-plus receiving yard game. And then I definitely feel confident that he'll get to 2,000. But it's definitely going to be really close. But as long as he doesn't get hurt, I think he should get it. But again, it's going to be close. Then we go to sacks leaders. Danielle Hunter has 13.5 sacks, tied with T.J. Watt of the Steelers, who's got 13.5 sacks. You got Myles Garrett with 13, Khalil Mack with 13, and Josh Allen of the Jaguars. He's got 12. And then you go to interceptions. Deron Bland of the Cowboys has the most pick six now all time in a single season. I think it's right with 5, right? Yeah, he did it on Thanksgiving. Then you got Stone for the Ravens at 2. Adebo for the Saints, Jesse Bates, and Taylor Britt of the Bengals. They're all tied for 4 interceptions. And then with tackles, you got Roquan Smith at the top, Edwards of the Bears, second, Zaire Franklin of the Colts, Aluakan of the Jaguars, and then C.J. Mosley of the Jets. Those are your tackling leaders. But yeah, those are all the T.J. Edwards of the Bears. So yeah, that's all the those are the stat leaders for the NFL. So now let's get into the college rankings. So you got some Heisman Trophy candidates. So you got Michael Penix of Washington. So he currently leads the way with 3,899 passing yards. Then you got Jaden Daniels of LSU, 3,812 passing yards. Caleb Williams of USC has 3,633 passing yards. Drake May, UNC, 3,608 passing yards. And then you got Shedeur Sanders of, hopefully I pronounced that right, Deion Sanders, son of Colorado, 3,230 yards passing. So that's the passing yards category. Then you go to passer rating. You got Jaden Daniels, who's got a 208 passer rating. I mean, that's just insane when it comes to college. Then you got Bo Nix of Oregon, 189.8. Then of Liberty, Salder has a 179.2 passer rating. J.J. McCarthy of Michigan, 176.8. And then Pratt of Tulane has 164.9. Then for rushing yards, Ollie Gordon II has 1,579 rushing yards for Oklahoma State. Hampton for UNC has 1,442 rushing yards. Then for Toledo, Boone has 1,359 rushing yards. Penny Boone. Now I just clicked out of the stats. My bad. Then you go to the next for the Georgia State Panthers, Marcus Carroll. He's got, I keep clicking out of it now for some reason. He's got 1,350 rushing yards. And then for Troy, you got Vidal. He's got 1,350 yards as well. So those are your top five. Kimani Vidal for Troy, the Troy Trojans. So those are the rushing yards. Then we move on and we go to receiving yards. So you got Malik Napers for LSU. He's got 1,546 receiving yards. You got Washington for Virginia. He's got 1,426. Aduse, he's got 1,326. Lacey, not Eddie Lacy, he's got 1,316 receiving yards for the South Alabama Jaguars. So that's the top four at least. Then for FAU, you got Wester with 1,168 receiving yards. I cannot pronounce LeJonte Wester. I think that's how you pronounce it. Again, the pronunciations for some of these names, I'm just so bad at that. Then interceptions, you got Xavier Watts for Notre Dame. He's got 7. Hallman for Wisconsin's got 6. Grant for Buffalo has 5. Green for Liberty, he's got 5. And for Kentucky, Hairston has 5. But yeah, those are all your stats leaders for college. And yeah, that's basically all the stat leaders for both college and for the NFL as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the show today. Obviously, tomorrow, week 13, kicks off between the Cowboys and the Seahawks. So, obviously we'll preview that. We'll have some other stuff to cover as well tomorrow. Look out for the shorts that'll come out later today throughout the day for both football and baseball. We're hoping that we get some more news with baseball. Obviously, we got the show on Friday, doubleheader on Friday. I'm also going to repost yesterday's show into the 4 parts, so that'll come out at some point today. So look out for that in case you missed anything from yesterday's show. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. And yeah, make sure to tune in tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, of course. We'll be back. Like I said, we'll preview the game tomorrow night. But yeah, already halfway through the week already. Weeks are flying by. And they're never going to slow down. They're just going to keep going faster and faster. But yeah, so then again, and also I want to remind you guys, when it comes to comments, tip or donate, make sure to go to the following link as displayed on the bottom, streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. But yeah, that's it for me for today. So once again, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder, signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.